I'm Nida Yang from Supermicro. Today, I'm so excited to welcome two guests, Ted from AMD and Ghee from Embedded LLM, to join this conversation. There are a lot of questions I'm dying to get the answers, but then before that, why don't you two give us a quick self-intro?
Yeah, happy to, Linda. My name is Ted Marena. We've been working together for a couple of years.
Yep.
I am focused on the Instinct product line at AMD in a business development role, working with some partners and the key partner, Supermicro. So happy to be here.
Thank you, Linda. I think I'm Ghee from Embedded LLM. Been working with Supermicro for quite some time as well. I think happy to be here. Embedded LLM supports AMD natively on all the ROCms and the inferencing stack. And upcoming, we're going to bet fully on what we call agentic infrastructures, which pairs the best of the world from CPU of AMD's, which is a huge strength, and the GPU Instinct side as well, to really combine to what we call the age of agentic infrastructure plus inference.
That's very exciting. Before I dive into a technical question, Ted, I actually want to start with a t-shirt because...
It's not a t-shirt.
Oh, sorry. I want to start with your shirt because this is the first time ever I get to interview you. So I want to start with a shirt story.
A lot of people have asked me, and honestly, it's a number of years ago where all of a sudden I just said that I wanted pattern, and I remember seeing one that was like very, non-repetitive. I loved it, and then kind of ever since then, it's just sort of been my thing.
That's awesome. Okay, now let's get serious. So we know in the AI world today, it's moving so fast. And I'm pretty sure AMD see the huge change over even the last 2 years as well. Why don't you share a lot of insight from AMD? How do you see the AI moving within the last 2 years and where they might be heading?
Yeah, and so it's staggering to think that just a couple of years ago, there was this phenomena of ChatGPT, and you basically typed a prompt, it went up to the GPUs, and it would provide a response. And so this like very dominant GPU infrastructure, basically 4 GPUs to every CPU, was sort of how things continue to evolve. And then towards the end of last year, all of a sudden agentic became more popular, and so instead of it just being a command and response, now all of a sudden you have these actions going on. And so these agents, they need to pull data from various databases, like from Salesforce or Workfront or whatever. And so now the CPU is becoming more important because it has to organize the data. So what's going to be moving forward here shortly is, instead of this 4-to-1 ratio, it's going to be more like a 2-to-1 GPU to CPU, or even maybe 1-to-1. So we'll have to see how that evolves.
Awesome. Now talking about AI innovation, we have the AI startup CEO here, Ghee. Do you mind sharing with us your company's history, where you come from, where you are, and where you're heading?
Thank you. So I think we started very much in 2012. So we've been actually, in those days, not really a lot of people know about AI, but I think AlphaGo was the phenomenon that spiked it up. By then, we're already doing some neural networks on all these GPU layers. So we are one of the earliest people to touch on that one, work with Taiwanese OEMs to actually work on the GPU dense server as well at that time. So that's
Nice.
how we started. But I think what's interesting is that when we start to see the whole trend moving towards LM, we know that inferencing and also tools would be very much the underlying layer. So we bet on the trend since 2022, actually in late 21.
Wow.
So we are very early in the inferencing layer. And
Yes.
I think that time was also the time when AMD needs a lot of support on ROCm and also on the model, some of the training parts, but we focus on inferencing side. So that's how we come about into the scene.
Awesome. So now inferencing is the king now after the training phase. How do you both collaborate with each other to actually ride the wave of the inferencing?
Yeah, so I think one of the differences that AMD brings to the AI marketplace is the fact that we have an open software ecosystem. So ROCm and also our enterprise AI software. These are both software layers of the AI stack. And having the open source ROCm, it's a great platform for developers like Embedded LLM to, to take further develop, optimize, and they're able to squeeze more performance out of our GPUs. So I just sold you.
I love that. So talking about open source, indeed, open source is a huge way to actually drive the innovation in the industry because so many people can participate when you have more brains. Automatically you'll innovate and move way much faster than those proprietary technology. Now, Ghee, back to you. I know your company has been invest heavily into the open source community as well. Do you mind share some of those insights with us and where your company have been actually put effort in and where you will be?
So we are pretty early on the VRM layer and supporting ROCm natively, but we also work on the multimodality side of the equation as well. I think open source, you already mentioned the right part and Ted as well. But we actually see customers that in the rest of the world, except for US and China, which is mostly they want sovereign. So when it comes to sovereign, it means transparency. It means code base. It means like even ROCm layer, like that is transparent for them to see. So that is actually one of the largest, I would say, advantage that working with AMD going into all these countries, like of course with very great support from SMC. And I would say the other thing is because now we are moving towards what we call the inferencing plus RL paradigm. So when you're doing inferencing, it will also learn and fine-tune the AI models in real time. So people like moving towards this trend. And that is actually quite important when people want to adopt this in the enterprise or even as a very fundamental government AI services. They need to look at all the transparency all across the entire stack.
Very true. Actually, so much insight because we are the system kind of company. We sit in between. I really appreciate the silicon experts insight as well as the upper layer insights. Last question, Ted, if you have a crystal ball, where do you think our silicon is heading and where do you see the software stack is heading?
Yeah, I think, for the foreseeable future, if you take a look at just, again, over the very recent history, the amount of power that each GPU is consuming continues to go up. The only reason that has been making sense is because we've been able to deliver more performance per watt.
True.
So even though these devices, when I was started at AMD, they were around 500 or so, watts per GPU, right? And so, the current generation is 1400 watts. Helios, which kicks it to the next level, is 2500 watts.
Yep.
And so, this is like an incredible ramp up. I think that's going to continue. I think what we're going to start to see as models mature down the road, there'll be more specialized architectures. That's one trend. And then I guess the other thing I would sort of summarize as well is I think just the networking, the cluster, there's a lot of different optimizations that can be done, leveraging CPU, leveraging NICs, switches, and that's really what the future holds, in my opinion, on the hardware side.
Spot on. Lots of innovation, lots of optimizations under the way. So get to you.
Thank you. I think very much like how human works with one another, we actually work around what we call agency and also organizational, self-organized agency. I would say the agentic infrastructure is moving, of course, in the same paradigm into these directions where there's a self-organizing capability of the agents. And that's where the RL plus inferencing and also the alignments of RL with inferencing is very important. And when Ted talked about maybe 4-to-1, I would say definitely 1-to-1.
Wow.
Because we haven't touched even on the software that requires GPU For example, the CAD drawings.
True.
It hasn't come in conversations. It's all CLI for now. But I wouldn't be really surprised that even like I visited this Oxford technical industries area where they design satellites, they design robots, and all these design software in the future will be self-organizing in terms of the agentic way of working designs and iterating designs.
Very
It's all
true.
one-to-one.
Yes.
So I would say the age of agentic infrastructure, self-organizing capability, alignments of RL and inferencing, all this is definitely down into people and into players. So on the silicon players and also OEM layers are very good at both CPU and GPU.
Very true.
And this is, I think, would be what AMD has to show, right? That they are absolutely going to be the dominating force in this next coming decade, I would say.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. I look forward to see you next time.
Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.